The boy had never seen so much blood on a man who was still breathing. The stranger's wrists were torn raw, his face bruised and streaked with dust, rope biting deep into his arms as he hung against the pine tree like someone the mountain itself had rejected. 12-year-old Eli froze mid-step when he found him, paralyzed not by fear, but by the haunting look in the man's eyes, a look that asked for help without daring to expect it. The morning sun was just breaking over the ridgeline, painting gold across the wilderness, and in that light Eli realized he had stumbled into something far bigger than anything his young world had ever known. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and doing what's right even when it's terrifying, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. It truly helps keep stories like this alive. Eli had grown up with these mountains as his backyard, raised by a single mother who taught him two things: never back down from the truth and never walk away from someone who needs help. But as he stepped closer to the injured biker, massive, muscly bound, tattooed with a winged skull on his arm, Eli felt the weight of fear clawing at him. This man looked dangerous, like someone the world would instantly judge. Yet something in the biker's expression made Eli step forward anyway. He cut the ropes with the pocket knife his mother had given him for his 10th birthday, hands shaking as the man slumped forward, breathing raggedly. The biker's voice was barely more than a whisper as he tried to thank him, but Eli insisted they move. Whoever had done this might come back. And so, with a boy's courage and a wounded stranger's painful determination, they made their way down the mountain path toward Eli's home. Eli's mother, Claire, gasped when she saw the state of the man. She was a nurse, mountain tough, calm under pressure, and without hesitation she hauled the injured biker inside. As she cleaned his wounds and bandaged his arms, the man told them his name was Hawk. He didn't explain everything, not at first, but Eli understood more from Hawk's silence than his words. Someone wanted him dead. And judging by the way he flinched at every distant engine echo from the valley, those people were not done looking. Claire told Hawk he could stay the night while she contacted the local sheriff in the morning. Hawk tried to refuse, but the pain eventually pinned him to the bed. And so Eli spent the evening watching over him, feeling a strange mix of admiration and worry. Hawk looked like someone carved out of trouble, yet he listened to Eli talk with a gentleness that didn't match his intimidating image. For a moment, the boy wondered how often people had judged Hawk before ever knowing him. By midnight, the wind had changed. The mountains felt uneasy, like they were holding their breath. Eli didn't fall asleep until after 2 a.m., sitting beside the window, staring into the tree line. When he finally drifted off, he had no idea the world outside was already shifting toward something unimaginable. At sunrise, Claire shook him awake with trembling hands. Her voice cracked as she told him to look outside. Eli rushed to the porch, then froze in place. Down the hill, stretching as far as the eye could see, engines idling like thunder trapped in hundreds of steel chests, were motorcycles, rows and rows of them. Men and women in leather vests, tattoos, helmets, boots. They filled the valley floor like a blackened chrome army. At least 2,000 bikers, motionless, waiting. For a second, Eli thought they were the ones who had hurt Hawk, that they had come to finish what they started. But when the crowd parted and a single huge rider stepped forward, raising a hand in respect, Eli realized the truth. They weren't here to hurt anyone. They were here because of Hawk. Word had spread overnight through the biker network, rippling across states like a wildfire. A brother had gone missing. A brother had been hurt. And when they learned a young mountain boy had saved him, the entire Hell Angels chapter and several allied clubs rode out to the mountains to stand guard, protect the family who had protected one of theirs. The sight was overwhelming. Claire's eyes filled with tears. Eli's breath trembled in his chest. Hawk stepped outside slowly, leaning heavily on the doorframe, bandages bright against his bruised skin. When he saw the crowd, his jaw tightened with emotion he couldn't hide. These were his people, his misfits, his brothers, the ones who rode through life with scars and stories. But never, not once in his life, had he expected them to show up like this. The leader approached Eli, towering over him like a mountain within the mountains. But when he spoke, His voice carried warmth, respect, and gratitude. He told Eli that courage wasn't measured by size or by age, but by the heart behind the action. And Eli, small as he was, had shown the kind of heart most grown men never find. That morning, the Hell Angels didn't just thank the boy. They surrounded his home in a protective circle, ensuring no one who hunted hawk would dare come near. They fixed the family's broken fence, repaired the roof, and stacked a winter's worth of firewood. By the time they were done, the once quiet mountain home looked like a fortress built by loyalty and gratitude. Hawk promised Eli he would never forget what he'd done. More importantly, he promised he'd live differently because of it. Not perfect, not suddenly transformed, but better, kinder, more aware of the good still left in the world. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support truly keeps this channel going.